everyone, and welcome to Burlington Matters. I am your host, Marianne Mead Ward, where we bring awesome residents from our community together to talk about the issues that are top of mind for all of you. I hope you find our shows interesting. And this week, of course, we are celebrating International Women's Day and breaking the bias, talking to wonderful and inspiring women about how they do that every day and make sure that they don't let anything, all those barriers that might be in front of them, stand in their way of doing good things. So I want to get right to our discussion today. Today I have with me Hanadi Almasri, who is the chair of our Burlington Inclusivity Advisory Committee here at the City of Burlington, and with HMC Connections. She's the Director of Social Innovation and Anti-Racism Programs, and HMC, of course, stands for Halton Multicultural Council. So we're going to learn about what all of that is, and then we're going to talk about your story, Hanadi. So I'll just turn it right over to you. Perhaps you can open up with talking to us about what Halton Multicultural Council does, how long it's been around, and some of the services that it provides in our community.
Thank you, Mayor Mead. I'm very honored to be with you on Burlington together. I'm a resident of Burlington for the last 20 years, and I arrived to Canada in 2002 as a landed immigrant skilled worker. And I'm a Muslim woman coming from really racialized communities and from different aspects, really with a dream to establish my life in Canada, with being a family of 5, and now we are a family of 14 in Burlington. So I'm so honored to be in this land. I'm so honored with the opportunity that was given to me as Canadian citizen now, and giving back to my community that I love. Thank you for hosting me today. And just to talk a little bit about HMC, I've been working with HMC for the last 19 years. And I love giving back because this is an opportunity for people to really to give back with the experience that shaped their life on the things that they did before or challenge themselves. As HMC was established really for the last, it's been in service for the last 45 years in Halton. It started with 5 volunteers, and now we are 75 employees. We provide many different programs, but the main program is the settlement services, where we help newcomers to our community with information, referrals, connecting them to the services. And of course, we have many others. We have transitional housing units, 11 units in Burlington. We also provide the language instructions for newcomers. And we have community connections programs. And also we are a lead agency in the education and the education and learning about anti-racism, cultural diversity training that we provide in the community. We sit in many committees to affect really the systemic changes that where we see really some challenges of newcomers. We are trying to make our region a welcoming region, and we advocate on one mission that we have, one community for all. So we have an awesome staff that works every day and every moment, everywhere to really to accomplish what we are looking for. And of course, we are funded in different ways, and hopefully we will stay here forever with the in Halton region and in the city of Burlington. Thank you.
Well, we're thrilled that you're here, and I think it'd be great if you would feel comfortable, Hanadi, sharing a little bit about your story, where you were from, what brought you to Canada, and I'm guessing that Halton Multicultural Council helped you back in the day, and give us a little bit of that story so people can see sort of in a real life experience the services that are available, or what it's like to be a newcomer to a new country and a new city and to try to find your way.
I came from Jordan. I'm from the Jordan country, and it's Jordan is in the Middle East, and we have different borders with our neighbors. We have conflicts sometimes, not in Jordan, in some borders that we have with different countries. We have so I think when we started to think about immigration, when the time came for my kids really to go to be educated in the best universities, and when I thought that there is lots of different ways of discrimination if you don't belong to this country or that country. So we decided, me and my husband, to plan really a better life for our kids with the dream of coming to Canada to give them the better life, the stable life, the peaceful life, and to provide them with the best education in the world. This is how we looked at it. So we worked as, we applied for our immigration as skilled workers. I have my education in IT, and my husband has the engineering education background. It's a process. It's not an easy process to apply to as an immigrant to come to Canada. It will take a time. But we were processed really fast, and we got the approval. We received the visa, to the permanent visa. We were so happy with this. So we did the plan. Of course, you have to say bye. You have to leave the country. You have to leave your homeland, which I really feel so proud of it until today. But it's difficult, really, at the beginning when I arrived to new society, where people look at me always. First, they think that I am maybe I don't have the features of being Middle Eastern, but when I speak, I still have the accent of in my language, and where people really were hesitating really to maybe communicate with me at the beginning, and feeling strange, and the same question every day: where you are from? I don't believe you are from this country, because this country is typically, this is what we see in the TV or the social media. So I think there's lots of challenges when you come here, and if you are not going to be as much as of resilience woman, we will be swamped with depression, with mental health, with not even really isolation. And I think my kids helped me when they went to the school. They helped me with bringing to me new things. Mom, you can volunteer. There is volunteering opportunity. There is an agency that can help you. And this was coming from the school board and from the school of my children. I felt so proud that I was connecting. I felt really so depressed at the beginning, and I was sleeping a lot. And then I said, stand up, really, there is volunteer opportunity. Okay, let me take this. I applied. I was really successful with having HMC accepting me as a volunteer. And from there, I started to shape up what I wanted to do. I want to help people. I'm a people person. I love this services that they provide. I started to volunteer, not 7 hours, 18 hours every day. I started to help people. I started to communicate and creating multiculturalism clubs and the reading clubs. I started to speak the Canadian language in the way that how the Canadian want me to phrase myself in a way, but in another way, I have really some goals and some really dreams that I want to achieve. I found the way are really very open for me if I will be really strong and stand up for myself. So I challenged myself, I challenged my emotions, I challenged the culture that I came from, that it's a very, very male dominant culture where you cannot make decisions. So I think I worked with HMC, and then HMC hired me. And this is how I was really a settlement worker, and then coordinator to manager to director with my network, with my dream became true, with really focusing of what I wanted to achieve in my life. And I am really thankful for HMC, and this is why I wouldn't waste any minute of my time not to help in my community and not to help the other women to have a dream and to be the woman that they want to be.
Wow, very inspiring, incredibly inspiring. And there's a lot of different things that I'd like to bring out and ask you about. You mentioned, and because we're talking about International Women's Day and overcoming barrier, you mentioned that where you came from was very male dominated. How did you find a way in that country? And then did you experience any barriers as a woman once you got here? And how did you overcome that? First in your own country, and then where you were born, I gather, and then here.
I think in my own country, and even we were raised really sometimes, really that the woman, they belong at the end, as always, to be a housewife or a woman that will look after children only. And this is the end of the story. This is where you will be boxed and labeled. And yes, my father was very open really to let me go for education, because I was really advocating on my behalf that I want really to receive this education. IT business before, I don't know, maybe 40 years, it's not the IT business for women. And why would you go to IT business? And even when I finished, I was not hired on with IT business. I was hired as secretary or administrative assistant, or so it wasn't really linked to female jobs. There are really certain jobs in our country are not really female jobs. You will not really see police officers. You cannot see firefighters. You cannot also see the title of director, sometimes that it's attached to women. Nowadays, things are changing with the new generation and with the new journey that we have, and with the modernized approach of how women they are advocating. And we see now lots of changes in those stigmatized jobs and the boxes that they used to put us in. So in Canada, I found those opportunities. I found the opportunities for myself really to thrive. And I took those opportunity as it goes really. And I work hard. I had the confidence that I will be able to work those, and nobody can really stop me of focusing on those and looking beside after my looking after my house, looking after my kids. This will not contradict with what I'm planning to do for myself. And I love my husband because he understands really this journey, and he never was really a barrier to my dream, and he was very supportive. And nowadays, my husband goes to the kitchen, and I don't believe it when I see him in the kitchen. I don't believe it anymore, really. So it's really the picture change with focusing on my dream and on my really what I want to do and what's my capability of doing. And if I in Canada, it was very open for me to take really courses, to attend classes. Even the government really provide you with free classes really to attend in learning, in different learnings. And
Is that where did you know English before you came, or did you have to learn
I
all
knew,
of that here?
no, I knew English little bit,
Yeah.
but of course, there are lots of classes here that you can attend for that is supported by our government for free to empower really or to work in your English and design your English towards really the Canadian culture in a way that to understand how to communicate. The cultural piece is very important. There are terminology that we don't have it even in our dictionary whenever you convert those words. So I
Can you give an
believe,
example for us of one of those?
mental health is a big thing you want to discuss in our normal world in my country. Really, there is nothing called depression. There is nothing called anxiety. Even if you look at anxiety, the meaning of anxiety, there is no meaning in our dictionary for anxiety, because we don't believe that you are a woman, you are the woman that will handle everything. You are the woman that will stand for your family and for your kids and for your mother-in-law, for your father-in-law, for the full family. And yes, we are, but we are also really, we have emotions, we have mental status, we have, so we have to acknowledge those really things while we are really living in our world. Until now, really, you cannot go and say, I'm having really anxiety or depression or and until now, some women, they come from different cultures, they don't believe in this. But I know now, really, with standing for yourself and with knowing all of this, with the knowledge that you are going to gain here in Canada, and with the resiliences that you are going really to understand and learn, I think you can really stand for yourself and work on those areas. So I think for me, I found really a very good opportunities, and I took those opportunity. I had the confidence in myself, and this is where really I worked hard with this. And now I have a larger family, and we were successful in our integration. I didn't stand. Now I don't have any fears to make decisions. So it's not only my husband, or it's not really a male dominant world that I'm living in here in Canada. I'm standing really for myself. And we are working now. I know that in our settlement sector, it's very feminine dominant work, because I know really many males, they don't really like to join the social sector or this sector. And this is where I'm trying nowadays really to help the others, and to help the other women working in very different situation, in crisis situation or abuse situation, or really the male dominant situation where they cannot make decisions, and where the woman really has in her eyes really 100 words that she wants to tell you those words, but she cannot really, because she doesn't think that she's really able to communicate herself. So I think managing our emotions every day with ups and downs, with the crisis situation that we see, we learn how to be emotional intelligence in a way that we can adapt, we can embrace the changes, and we are there to inspire, to motivate, to empower the self-esteem of women, and trying to help them to walk really the walk, and to learn to run small businesses. We were successful really a lot with the small businesses that women can create it. And if you I know we help more than 500 really women to create their small businesses. I know
This is
that
through Halton Multicultural Council. You've done that work? Yeah, that's
yes.
incredible.
Yeah, and I've, with the experience that I have as a landed immigrant, also really I was really advocating to the Ministry of Transportation that we are larger families. We come to Canada, we are women, and sometimes we drive with emotions, and how we can control those emotions in a way when the child will cry. We used to hug our children. Now we have to restrain them in the child car seat. And how can the woman manage really a bigger family in the car? So we came up with a full education really program about safety drives us with the Ministry of Transportation, and with lots of educations and tools for women and larger families. We came with lots of different ideas. I think the HMC really allow me to shape this really practical experience into really changing of some policies or affecting some other programs, and the birth of our cultural diversity, which educates you about really where the women are coming from and what is the culture in this country, what's the culture in depth and traditions in relationship with the woman during marriage, with the woman really mental health and well-being, with them with really parenting. We have now even parenting education for women in our agency, and this is coming out of many practical experiences that I had. I know we have an amazing executive director that she believes in everything, and she encouraged every employee really to thrive in the new ideas and the innovative ideas that they have, and all those ideas are becoming from our experiences as women in our region.
That's so important. And I'm just really struck by what you were saying about women who've come here, and just to, in some cases, having left everything behind, or you've got skills that aren't yet recognized in Canada, so you're working at a position for a time maybe that is below what you're capable of doing and what your experience might be. And all of that's learning a new language, and all of the feelings that you would have attached to that, and to hear you say that in your language anyway, there's no words for depression or anxiety. I mean, how could you even begin to to try to deal with that mental health? So I'm really really happy to hear that HMC works through that, and you've mentioned it many times today, that mental health and well-being and the emotions are such a key part of caring for each other, and teaching women who've probably never in some cultures have not had even the words, like literally not even the words to talk about this. You mentioned earlier that you went from a family of 5 to 14. So tell me a little bit about how you went from 5 to 14.
It's just I arrived with my 3 teenagers, my daughter and my 2 sons. And I know that they joined the university and high school here in Canada, and here in Burlington Central Public School, where we live. We live very close. And now I have really what they finish. I have a chemical engineer. I had really a pharmaceutical, 2 in pharmaceutical research and companies. And they are working and they are married here in Canada. And I have really 7 grandchildren also that they were born here in Canada. And I feel I celebrate every day when I see them here. And I'm, as a mom, yes, I celebrate their success, because their success is my success. And if I didn't stand up for myself, if I always think if I was really in those certain mental health and I didn't help myself, what will happen to my children? I always think about it. Maybe we could have went back home, because I need a family. My family are not here. My parents are not here. My sisters are not here. How can I stand really by myself in this isolation? So I think I really dedicated the time for them, but also I didn't forget myself. And I think
very important.
It's very important not to forget yourself as a woman, and not really to I respect our traditions, I respect our culture, I respect where we came from, but something we have to embrace some changes in our lives. We have really to believe in ourselves that we can do more. The same experience that I have, I interpret this experience or transfer it to many other women. And when I look at them today, I feel so proud that yes, my practical experience, that it's shaping the others, not only myself. I have really this other woman that she's principal of a high school now. After she had the same challenges, after she had the same experiences when she arrived to Canada. And I was really thinking about those three words: inspiring, empowering, and motivation. It's just this, my story shaped the way of how I motivate the others. So I have a friend now, she's a principal. I have a person who has a small business. I have another one who's really now ECE, child care, in the children care. This woman, she had zero English when she arrived as a refugee from Syria. But now you cannot imagine how the world changed for her, with the education, insisting on education, insisting on a career, insisting that she wants to drive a car. And I love those stories.
That's great. I'm going to leave. We are almost out of time. I could talk to you for another hour here. And my last question to you was going to be, what advice do you have? And you've already given it to us. To be strong and to look after yourself. And so I just, we are out of time, unfortunately, Hanadi, but I just want to thank you so much for your service to our whole community. And we didn't even get to talking about your work with the Burlington Inclusivity Advisory Committee, but you're the chair of that helps the city. We have our citizens that help our city be more inclusive. And of course, the work that you do at HMC Connections and giving back to our community. We are so lucky to have you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And to everybody watching out there, I hope you are as inspired listening to Hanadi's story as I was. And please join us again for another issue of Burlington Matters. Signing off now, I'm Burlington Mayor Mary Ann Mead Ward. Have a great day.